Welcome back. It's time for Midday Sports. Now, West Indies have named an unchanged 11 for their second test against England at Trentbridge, starting tomorrow. This despite going down by an innings and 114 runs inside 3 days in the first test at Lord's. Wicketkeeper batsman Joshua De Silva says the regional side will have a renewed approach for tomorrow's second test.
A bit of positives. It might not look like it, but we've took a few positives. A lot of guys got starts and just didn't carry on. We talked about soaking up more pressure and how we're going to deal with those situations if we are putting them again, not losing wickets in clusters. So it's about reminding ourselves the process and trusting that process, because all of us have a different way of going about it. But yeah, it's just about trusting our own game and making sure we get the job done.
De Silva also says England's focus on the Ashes could work in the West Indies' favour as they seek a series levelling win.
No, it doesn't hurt us. I don't study it especially. It's just we still have to play the cricket. If they take us for granted, we might get a win. Or we can win the series. So for me, I take that as a favour.
The Caribbean men have not won a test series in England since 1988. Now, as the Paris Olympic approaches, it remains to be seen whether the athletes listed as alternates for Jamaica's team will be with the delegation in the French capital at the time of the competition. This, as sources told TVJ Sports, that at least one athlete with the alternate participant or AP designation was told they would have to bear financial responsibility for their accommodation and other expenses if they take up the offer of travelling to France. TVJ Sports put the question to team manager Ludlow Watts, who responded saying they had no discussion of the sort with any athlete. He said they enter reserve athletes in the system as, in the event a necessity arises, they would have been duly registered to compete. He added that in the unlikely event that they are called upon to compete, their expenses would be borne by the JOA with funding provided by the IOC. According to Section G of World Athletics Qualification System for the Paris Olympics, AP alternate athletes are non-competing athletes and are not included within the athletes' quota. It says AP alternate athletes can only become competing athletes as per the conditions outlined in the late athlete replacement policy. Now, the match between Jamaica's under-19s and the Leeward Islands under-19s in their CWI Rising Stars cricket competition has been delayed. The Jamaicans drew their opening two games against the Windward Islands and Trinidad and Tobago, with rain affecting both matches. The Terence Cork-coached team surrendered the first innings points against TNT, declaring their first innings at 169 for 9 before TNT made 250 for 9. Jamaica will hope opener Adrian Ware can build on his second innings 56 in the last game, where the West Indies Academy player Jordan Johnson also got 28 not out in their 97 for 2. In other games, Windward and TNT match at Park Hill also was delayed due to inclement weather, while Barbados are 45 for 5 against Guyana. Now, the semi-final lineups for this year's Suncorp Super Netball League have now been decided for following the 14th and final round of regular season matches over the weekend. Defending champions Adelaide Thunderbirds will host the Melbourne Vixens in the major semi-final on Saturday, while the West Coast Fever will entertain Sunshine Coast Lightning on Sunday. Thunderbirds defeated Sunshine Coast Lightning 64-62 to top the table. Sunshine girl Romelda Aiken-George led the way for the T-Birds with 44 goals from 51 attempts. West Coast Fever got by Melbourne Mavericks 76-57 to secure their place in the standings. Janelle Fowler-Nemard shot 98% with 67 goals from 68 attempts for Fever. Melbourne Vixens ended second on the table after their 62-52 win over Queensland Firebirds. The winner of the Thunderbirds Vixens major semi-final will progress straight to the grand final, while the loser will face the winner of the Fever Sunshine Coast Lightning contest in the preliminary final on July 27. And that's it for your Midday Sports Report. Shamela?
Thank you, Jordan. And that's the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pulena. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.